Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about Digimon. Because, yeah, it has apparently... Very squeaky chair today. It has been a little while since I have last talked about Digimon on the channel in any real capacity. I have mentioned before that of the current Bandai Namco TCGs, it is my favorite. I'm very fond of the core mechanics, especially the memory gauge back and forth nature of the game, leading to several wild plays turn after turn, where you and the opponent can get really swingy big moves in and kind of almost gamble on whether or not your big move is going to be better than your opponent's big move. I like that game a lot, and it helps that it has some of the coolest monster designs of any of the TCGs currently on the market. Something about Digimon just always seems cooler than Pokemon, probably because of like all the edges and the spikes and the guns and such. But yeah, it's a good game. I like it quite a lot. And it overall is still, in my opinion, doing fairly well. But let's get a little bit of a market update on it and see how it's doing right now. And kind of compare it to other games on the market and how they're doing right now. So first things first, let's talk about the most recent set, which unless I'm crazy mistaken and I'm missing something, it was Dawn of Liberator back from February. The newest set was a doozy. It had quite a wide selection of cool cards, actually, but I'm not going to break down. This is not a meta breakdown because I'm not a meta channel. I am a Dumbo idiot who just likes to buy and sell cards. But there were some cool stuff in that set that I was quite fond of. But anyway, I digress. Dawn of Liberator, right now, as of the recording of this video, booster boxes are hovering at around $70 a box, which is, all things considered, not great for any TCG on the market, but it's still better than the worst of the Digimon sets, which if I have to be honest, I still think it's Classic Collection. People really hated that set. But at some point, maybe I should go through and actually review all of the Digimon boxes to see which one actually is performing the best and worst. I would be very surprised if the worst was not Classic Collection, though. That set did not go over well with most people. Anyway, yeah, Dawn of Liberator booster boxes are hovering around the $70 price range with the actual cards in the set. While there's some cool stuff, most of the best-selling cards are at around that $5 to $10 range. There's a lot of, all the top-selling cards, actually, I think, at least the top 10 selling singles, are all in that $5-ish range because those are all the playable cards that people are actually putting in their decks. There are expensive cards in the set. There's actually a lot of expensive cards in the set. I think there's like over 5 cards that are $300 and up, which is crazy. But when it comes to collectible cards like that, when it comes to higher end cards, those are always going to be slower sales, just because there's less people out there with the pocketbook, comparatively speaking, to cover a $300, $500 purchase, compared to all the people who are actually playing the game who can afford to buy a few copies of a $5 card. That's just the nature of the market. So yeah, there's some cool high-end cards. Obviously, there's slower selling slower. Your uncle's old, okay? They're selling slower than the obviously cheaper, more playable, more desirable in the metagame, cheaper cards. But that's not all. Let's talk about the wider game as a whole, and honestly, it still looks pretty solid. Digimon is a player's game right now. There are definitely lots of collectible cards that some have quite the premium, but Digimon never really hasn't yet, I should say, hit that huge value spike that games like One Piece have had. A lot of the cards that are selling in Digimon right now are just highly playable staples. Jade Memory Boost comes to mind, where I almost always every week see a copy of that sell just because everyone seems to like that card. It's really good in the relevant deck. I think it's had a few printings. Point is, staples are what sells in Digimon right now rather than the high-end, highly collectible alt arts or pull rares or anything like that. There are collectible cards. There are some genuinely cool cards, especially some of the alternate art, so you can only pull from the decks at a very low percentage. There's some cool stuff out there, some like real grails to be found in the Digimon ecosystem, but a lot of the focus on the wider market right now is not on those highly collectible cards. It's not on those grails. It's on the playable staples, which is a sign that the game itself is healthy and is seeing a lot of play, a lot of attention from people who are just interested in playing the game rather than people who are seeing Digimon exclusively as a financial tool, a financial vehicle for making as much money as they can possibly make in a small amount of time. People are playing Digimon. People are not fighting in the parking lot at Walmart or Target or Sam's Club over Digimon. That's the real takeaway there, which is, all things considered, a positive thing in my opinion. But of course, we do have to talk about its relationship to the other Bandai Namco games and the wider market as a whole. Obviously, Digimon is not doing as good as One Piece, and I honestly don't think it's doing as good as Gundam. Gundam is, it's the new hotness on the market. It's the new kid on the block. There's a lot of people who are buying into it just because it's fresh and new, and there's a lot of cool stuff in the first 3 sets. I think the 4th set might actually be here too. Shit, how many Gundam boxes are? I think it's 4. I think we're at 4 now. If we're at 5 and I missed one, then the point is, Gundam's fresh off the presses, and there's a lot of attention, a lot of focus on it, and that's a good thing. You know, there's a lot of interest in Gundam, and more power to the Gundam fans. But most of the attention on the market right now for the Bandai side of things is on One Piece, which is getting people who aren't into card games, who are just in it for the flipping mentality. Sure, One Piece has fans, One Piece has players, One Piece has collectors, but One Piece also has a lot of the financial side of things, the scalpers, the gurus, the get rich quick scheme guys who are buying it all up, and that's drawing a lot of attention in the Bandai side of things, in the market side of things, the wider TCG market, away from games like Gundam or Digimon. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it means there's less overall competition for getting those Digimon cards that Digimon fans actually want. Good thing overall, as long as the core game of Digimon is healthy enough to maintain its player base. And right now, that does appear to be the case. So that's a good thing overall, in my opinion. I think I'm overall fairly satisfied with the current state of Digimon, just because, again, it does look like a genuinely fun game with a lot of cool stuff, some really neat decks. Is Three Musketeers playable right now? Is Diaboromon playable? Someone let me know in the comment section. If you are a big Digimon fan and you play the TCG a lot, let me know if there's a good Diaboromon deck, because that guy is my baby. I love him so much. When the game first dropped and Diaboromon was in the first set, you bet your baby I was going out of my way to get as many copies of that boy as I could. And then, like, the first, like, really good version of him was only available in a tournament pack, and I cried. I was super upset about that for a bit. It was so unfair. Like, what do you mean the best version of the deck is hidden in tournament packs? It's awful. Anyway, I digress. The overall state of the game appears to be very playable. With, again, a lot of fans just being happy with the overall health of the metagame, the variety of decks, and the balance. That's a good thing. Sure, it's not doing gangbusters like One Piece. It's not doing gangbusters like Pokemon. Okay? It's not pulling Ascended Heroes numbers or Perfect Order numbers. And it doesn't have to. It just has to be a good game. Because being the most profitable game doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be around the longest. It just means that you're making a lot of money in the moment. A good game is one that can be sustained without needing to have week over week, month over month, quarter over quarter increased earnings. It can just continue to be good with fans that are dedicated and interested in playing it long term. But I suppose I'm rambling at this point. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Overall, I'm very happy with Digimon where it's at. The market's not crazy booming, but it's not faltering. It's not, you know, going into the swamp like some other card games we could talk about right now. overall, I like it. I still like it a lot. I still think it's my favorite of the Bandai Namco card games. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going in the future. But like I said, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Discord, Patreon, TCG Player. Yeah, those should be all the links you should check out. Talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.